All right, perfect. So like Deborah said, I'm from DSD and we have multiple DSD enhancements. We have over 500, and I think Steve said in the lunch, if you have something that's not working in Sage for you and need a solution, we probably have it or we can build it. So we're also master developers. We also can do custom programming if needed. Today I will be going over our 18 newest enhancements, but like Deborah said, we can certainly at the end, if we have any questions on any of our other top ones, I'm going to show off our website and how to navigate the marketplace a little bit. And yeah, certainly if at the end, since we're doing this virtual, there's no booth or anything to ask questions, so we can kind of have that Q&A at the end to fill that need. So certainly be prepared for that. I am going to do a little demo at the end. I'll hop into Sage. I'm just going to be able to probably show off 3 of them. Everything else, this is my first time. I'm going to try to pull our user manuals over and kind of storyboard the enhancements, since I'm not going to have time to go through Sage and kind of show them off. So hopefully our user manuals will fill some of your questions if you have any, or if there's any at the end, feel free to ask me. So our first one is our APAI, and it's your liability account by invoice. So we have modified the invoice data entry so you can sign a liability account, and manual checks and your register update have been modified for this new account as well. And if there's no account present, we will go ahead and use that specified account in division maintenance. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull the user manual over. So these are our user manuals. You can find them on our Enhancements Marketplace website. And like I said, I will be showing that off. So we'll show you where to get a hold of these. But the invoice data entry screen has been modified with that a new accounts payable. And you have a lookup to the general ledger account, so you can choose your GL accounts for that AP invoice. And again, if you don't put one there, it's just going to use the default in vendor or in division maintenance. Then our next one is our APBS and our ARBS. So this is actually our billing $1 billion support. So all numeric fields in AP and AR modules have been expanded to support that $1 billion. I wish we could bill $1 billion and receive $1 billion. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, if we could all do that? But for those companies that need to, Sage has that limitation. So this enhancement is right for you if you need to be putting in those invoices or invoicing out as well. Right now, it's only for AP and AR modules at this time. If you do have a need for any of the other modules, please go ahead and request that, and that can be built.
I think, could we get the extra Sage add-on that lets us enter $1 billion invoices?
You gotta be .gov.
.gov.
Does this need to be inside of here?
No, there's something in there already, I believe.
So here's just a few screenshots in our user manuals that does show off where you can put those $1 billion pricing and amounts, and the total screen has also been modified to allow that, and the journals as well, and also customer inquiry will get all of that support. All right, our next one is ARBE. It's our paperless delivery for bill to customer email address. So this one's pretty simple, but we've just modified in your paperless office settings, there's a new checkbox for use bill to email address. So people that are using national accounts and you're sending places to different, if they have a different bill to customer than who you're shipping to, you can use that bill to customer email address. So let me just go ahead and show that off here. So it's in the paperless office delivery options, and there's this new use bill to customer email address checkbox here. So we'll go ahead and use that bill to customer email address in those scenarios for customers that is turned on for.
Have a good night. Oh, okay.
Our next one is for APDE, and this is for deferred expenses. So AP invoice data entry has been modified so we can use deferred expenses over time. There has been an account that's been added to division maintenance to support those deferred GL postings. So let's go through this one a little bit. Here's the AR setup option. So you want to go ahead and enable it. And then there's also an option to allow the start date to precede the posting date if needed. Then if we kind of scroll down, like I said, to storyboard this enhancement a little bit. In AP invoice data entry, we have now added a deferred button. So you can choose to have this invoice as a deferred expense. You can even post them by line item by deferred expense if needed. In this example, in the manual, it's posting the entire invoice as one, not by line item. But then I have a start date and then I have a number of months. So I have 6 months set. Here's where it would be if it was by the line item. So you would have a starting date and a number of months. And then you can see the accrual postings and the liability accounts, debit and credit is what that is going to look like. All right, this next one is great. So it's the BRBF, our bank feed task scheduler. So we've modified the task scheduler in the library master to support bank feeds. So this task will perform transaction downloads for all your bank codes that contain a valid bank cloud account ID. So you can go ahead and schedule those. So I know people are running those manually, but you can schedule to have them overnight or hourly or whatever the case may be. You can go ahead and use that task scheduler to now schedule those bank feeds to make it a little easier for you. And just storyboard that a little bit for you. So here's the task scheduler. If you're not familiar with it, this is what that screen's going to go ahead and look like. You can set it up by company code. You got to have some user logins. And then here's where you can schedule the job. This one's set up daily and it has start and end dates. And then on the task 2, you're going to go ahead and choose the bank rec module. And then the task you want to run is the bank feed transactions to set that up. This next one is another paperless office. This is our CIPL, and this is our paperless delivery from user. So we have modified that in paperless office. We can use the from user email address in the user maintenance. So this one is going to, in user maintenance, if you have your email address set up here, your paperless office is going to use that from email address if you are the one doing the printing task for your paperless office. Now, I will say your Outlook needs to be set up that your that email address is allowed to send emails from other email addresses. Hopefully that makes sense. That should make sense to your admin or to your IT people. So that main email address in your paperless settings needs to be allowed to have access to be able to send from additional email addresses if you're going to use this feature. So again, whoever's running the printing task, it will use their email address. This next one is our LMAD, and it's our advanced data editor. People love and hate this enhancement just from, it's a very powerful tool. So it's an advanced data editor to edit a record. It simplifies if you're doing volume data editing. It can be challenging and time consuming if you're using or familiar with data file and display and maintenance. So we have kind of modified that to an advanced data editor to be able to allow you to edit your data easier. And it's in a table format, a grid format, and it's in an entry screen to facilitate multiple record edits. And this is actually one of the enhancements I am going to be demoing in my Sage. So we will be able to go ahead and take a look at this a little later on. So I'm going to move on. I won't pull the user manual for that one since we're going to be showing that one off a little later. This is our LMMT, our multi-company task scheduler. So this is another task scheduler enhancement, and this is added to the Library Master task schedule for journal and register task types. So you can schedule them for all companies. So what was happening in the main request for this is people that are using the task scheduler and have multiple companies in their Sage 100, they were having so many scheduled tasks for each of their companies that they were having to maintain. So this allows you to just create one scheduled task, and then you can schedule it for all companies. So you're just maintaining that one scheduled task and not multiple for each companies. A lot cleaner, especially if you're someone who has a lot of companies in your Sage and you're using the task scheduler. It can get really confusing if one of them gets hung, which one's hung, what do I need to edit? So maintaining one of those is a lot cleaner. The next one is actually another paperless office feature. So you're kind of got a little theme going of new enhancements that we did this year, but this one is another one that I'm actually going to be showing off, and is something that has been a limitation in Sage that I think a lot of people always ask for, but in that delivery maintenance message, task has been modified and expands the insert merge field. So and this is actually one I'm going to be showing off too as well, of how to add those new fields, and it includes UDFs as well. So if you have UDFs or additional information you would like to send in your emails with your delivery message, this is a great tool. I know a lot of people complain that Sage has that limitation of just the few fields you can send in paperless Office. So this adds the function to be able to add multiple fields and even your UDFs. And this is one I am going to be showing off functionality to.
Good afternoon, AC Building Service.
So this
I
one
can
is
check for
our
you, May. Tell them calling.
POEK purchase order kit explosion.
1 moment.
Ashley, the
Kyle?
background noise is not from your office,
Kyle?
correct?
No.
Eric, I'm sorry, he's not available. Can you give his voicemail?
I think it must be Paul. Let's get him to mute. See if I can do it. There we go. So sorry.
No, you're fine. So this is our purchase order kit explosion, and it has been modified to allow for your kit explosion during purchase order entry. Additional features such as kit line retention have been added. So, and we also can redistribute item costs, and that will be at a weighted average percentage if you use that feature. So let me go ahead and grab the for this. So this one is you would enable it in kit retention or not. There's a different options for kit retention, and then you can also redistribute the cost. Again, that will be the weighted average percentage. But it can be no, regular, or special on that kit retention. And down here in purchase order, you'll see that I had a kit called Ashley, and then all my components 1, 2, 3, 4. And I had it in this example set to retain as a special item. So it retained that kit component as a star Ashley, which is the special line. So I do want to retain that it is a kit, but I don't want, and in some scenarios you can say no and it's just going to explode those components, which is fine. There is that additional UDFs that can be set up as well. So this is showing you that it is not a component, and these 4 are the unit cost and the extended unit cost of the kit. And then again, it redistributed all of those costs down to the component. And we do show in the user manual how those costs were distributed to each of those components. All right, so again, the purchase order thing, we have POEP, Enhanced Purchase Order History Purge. So it's just a new utility that adds greater flexibility to purging your purchase order history than you currently have. So we add order date, purchase order date, and vendor number to the additional purchase order purge. So if I go ahead and pull this over here, it's your PO Enhanced Purchase Order Purge. So you'll see this on the utilities menu with this enhancement installed. And then again, you just have that order date, the purchase order number, the division number, and the vendor number. Records will be removed from the purchase order history header, history detail, history tax detail, and history tax summary. Also, just note purging's irreversible, so you would want to make sure you test or make a backup prior to running the utility. And that's really with all utilities in Sage, especially when you're purging. The next one is our POXP. It's our expanded purchase order number. We do have a lot of enhancements that expand fields. So this is just one of them. This is the newer ones, actually. I can't believe we didn't have this before, but that purchase order number field has been expanded to 15 characters, and that's for all modules AP, AR, inventory, purchase order, RMA, and sales order have all been affected, and you'll be able to see those 15 characters in each of those modules. So I can go ahead and I'll show the user manual again, all those modules that are affected, and then all the reports that are affected. So you can see that we have also modified reports to show that expanded purchase order number. So those will also be modified to support that expanded field. This next one is actually a Sage feature that they took away in recent versions, so we created an enhancement for it. And it's TCRE, it's the time track punch in and out rapid entry. So for users, and a lot of the example is like when you have shop users and they're using a scanner and they're punching in and out, there's not necessarily a keyboard or a mouse for them to hit accept. So what this rapid entry does is says, hey, after 5 minutes, just go ahead and accept the entry for me of the punch in and out. So that's a feature that we brought back because Sage took away. So I can go ahead and show that off. So that'll be under your time track options. We've added this new rapid entry. There's different modes. So this is an edit mode, and then the time delay is 5 seconds. So we'll go ahead and when you're in this screen, the employee can go ahead and scan in. They could type in, but in the example that I gave, you're in a shop, you don't have a keyboard, you don't have a mouse, they're just scanning their employee number, and then it will go ahead and automatically clock them in or out depending on the action that they're doing, and it will automatically accept them for them. This next one is our in-stock product. So if you're familiar with that, this is just a new feature. So we've added document archiving. I know a lot of people that are currently on in-stocks that were asking about this. This is currently only in the 2022 version. And obviously we will continue to upgrade that feature. But if you are looking for the new archive capabilities, it will be in that 2022 version. And this is what I'm going to be showing off, so you can toggle between current and archive. You can still get to that archive still within your Sage. And then the data entries will only allow you to add documents to the current directory. You can't add to the archive from data entry screens. But this was a highly requested feature for our Instadocs, so I'll go ahead and show that off. And again, Instadocs is our document management solution with inside of Sage. So if you have questions or want anything on that, please feel free to ask me at the end of this, because our Instadocs is an awesome product. This is another expanded field one. This is our IMEA, and it's our expanded alias item number. So that's been expanded to 100 characters rather than 30. So if you have limitations in your inventory or your alias item numbers, this is a solution for you. Again, I can just show off the manual. We do modify the screens to allow that longer entry. Same thing in vendor maintenance. And you can see that added field to be bigger. The next one is for payroll. It's our PRLDR payroll labor distributions. And this one allows you to post wage expenses by labor code using segment substitution. So I actually took the screenshot here on the screen since I could fit it. So you can see that if you're in labor code maintenance, and then you can drill down to the labor code allocations and by segment. So on my 9904, I want 50% distributed to there, and then my 9902, I want the other 50% distributed there. So it's my corporate offices and my West sales offices. So I'm distributing those costs. I believe this might be our last one before I jump into my demo, but this is our SOBR. It's our BOM revision selection. So within sales order, when you're entering bill of materials kits, we've now enabled that revision field, so you can select which revision you want brought into that sales order. So there's a new lookup. So I will show off that one. So you can see in sales order entry, we've added that new revision, and for the lookup, the revision value must be assigned before that bill has been exploded, because obviously with the different revisions, you could have different lines being pulled in when you do explode. So you do want to make sure that revision is picked before that bill has been exploded. Oh, I got one more. So one is our SODR, and this is the deferred revenue posting for sales orders. So it allows future deferred revenue postings for the general ledger for and this will occur during the SO invoice update. This one. So starting with the setup options in product line maintenance, you can set a calculation date. So you can do order date, first of the month, or don't have it set at all. There's been a new deferred revenue account in your product line maintenance that you can have set up. Same thing with your miscellaneous item maintenance, you'll have that new deferred revenue account. And then item maintenance, you have new fields of number of months and start dates by item codes. And then lastly, this pulls over to your sales order and your invoice data entry. So when you're on that totals tab, here's your number of months and your start date. Also, their post deferrals by line option is checked. You can have your start date and number of months for each of your line items. So that's where it flows through from the item number if you have that set up, or you can choose to modify it during your invoice entry. And again, those sales journals will post those GL postings, and it'll use that deferred revenue account in your new settings that you have set up. And then here's where you'll see what all of those future postings will look like in each of those dates for each of those months. So I'll hop into our demo. So I'm in my Sage 100. And I'm going to show off the advanced data editor first. There's a lookup, so you can drill down to each of your Sage tables. Just for the sake of ease, I'll just pull up the AR customer table. And I'll pull it up for my ABC company. hit proceed. Okay, so you can see that this pulls a big grid, but it's all grayed out because I haven't chose that I want to edit it yet. So this little tool over here says fix, and it now allows me access to all of these fields over here to edit. You can sort, so if I click country code, it's going to sort, so I put all my US at the top. So if we just go down the list, delete row, again, this is a very powerful tool. You need to be very careful when you're in here. You can insert a row, so you could add a record. You can reset it, so it will undo what you did when you were editing. You can export this whole grid to Excel. And we already showed off our fix button. The more, we have a search, and then we do have a find and replace as well. So this is where that editing tool comes into effect. So if you need to be editing a lot of records at once, this find and replace would be an awesome way to edit quickly because it asks you which column do you want to fix. So if I'm saying, oh, all of the country codes in here are wrong, or if they're blank, edit and put USA. Proceed. I would fill them in. Obviously, I didn't choose anything to replace. I could have put MEX, I guess, so you guys could have seen it replace. The next one is this navigate column. So right now, if I hit my tab, it's going to go down the row. If I go back to that column and I click this navigate column checkbox, my navigate is now going to go down for me. So if I'm editing and I don't want it to stay on that record, I want it to go down. This is what that navigate column box is doing. And again, that's a tool to help you edit quickly in your system. So if you need to be editing a lot of records and you want to go down within the column, that navigate column checkbox is a great tool to use. This is one that we do have actually short-term pricing on. So if it's something that you would a one-time use, hey, we got a lot of records we need to edit or fix, but it's only going to take us, I think it's going to be a 7-day unlock. So you could pay for that 7 days and get this feature to be able to edit a lot of your records. And when you accept, it's going to ask you if you want to create a backup of the selected table, and you can say yes or no. So that was our LMAD. That was our advanced data editor. The next one is going to be our paperless office. And this one is the electronic delivery, the PLEE, where you can add additional fields. So in this little blue button here that we've added, it says add new fields to merge the field list. So Sage, and I've probably added some since, but I think Sage only gives you maybe to this customer PO number. So you only get like the document date, customer number, customer name, and company name. So here, this is my demo company, so I'm not sure. It could be less fields than that. But this blue button here is going to bring up a list of everything that you have access to now add to that email. This also would include UDF, so if you had any UDF set up, they would have the ability to be selected here as well. So let me just see if there's anything. So like you could add the bill to customer number if that's something that you would want in that email. It doesn't look like anything else. Oh, if you're like using job numbers, you could reference the job number in the email. So you can hit proceed. And it's going to now allow you to grab those fields from the insert merge field drop down. So you now have access to the job number, to the bill to customer number. So if I go ahead and select that one, I can then go ahead and paste it into my message box. And you can also add them to the subject line as well. So if you need it added there. But this is a great tool because I know Sage does limit. I wonder if I have any other forms that I haven't modified. So in your dropdown, I believe this is all you have access to currently in Sage. And again, with this blue button, you then now have access to a lot more fields to be added to that message maintenance. And again, if you do have UDFs, I know for a lot of companies, UDFs are a great ability to have because they are storing good information in those that they may want to add to the email. Lastly is our Instadocs product for document archiving. Just going to go into vendor maintenance. This is for all of our products. The archive feature has been added, but I'm just going to show off AP. So with Instadocs, you have the new tab 10. And here's all of our documents that we have stored. And you'll now, if you're familiar with Instadocs, you now have this document archive directory. This is a feature that you can turn on or off if you want to use. So if you don't need the archive functions, you don't have to turn those features on. But I know this was a highly requested, so I know a lot of people are turning this feature on. So you will have an archive directory and a document current directory. So over here, we have a directory and you do have a drop down. So this is where you can toggle between the current and archive directory. So if I switch, you'll notice that my documents switch to my archive directory and I can toggle back and forth. The next feature of the archive is this last, I don't know, it looks like a file cabinet here. If we select that, it takes me to my archive files. And on one side, you can see your current files. On the other side, you can see your archive files. So here you can move documents back and forth. So you can actually take something out of the archive if you want it back in your current directory. So here you can sort by date. So if you are someone that at the end of every year you wanted to move old documents, so like these are dated 2010, so I could say, oh, these are all old, and go ahead and grab all of these and move them over straight to my archive directory. Could hit proceed and it go ahead and toggle. You can see I now only have 2010 because I took 3 of them out. 2 of them are here and 3 are here. You, like I said, in your data entries, so when you're doing any invoice data entry or any actual processing, I go ahead and create an example here. This one's just your live directory. You do not have access to toggle back and forth. When you're in your history, you do have the ability to toggle back and forth because you could have older records that you've archived in the past. So if you do need to come back and get to those archived documents, if you know something should be displaying and it's not, you may have to toggle to that archive. And you can toggle back and forth between those directories in your history inquiries, not in your data entries, but when you're in your history, you can get to those archived documents. Those were the 3 enhancements that I had to show off of the 18 that we went over. I do have, pull this over. Do have a PDF that easily links all of these. We do have a promotion for all of our new enhancements through December 31st. So it's going to be 25% all of those enhancements that we just talked about for that first year subscription. In this PDF, if you need access to this, let me know. But it does link all of these to our webpage, so you can easily see all of those. You don't have to remember everything we just went over. You could get access to them quickly. So again, that just displays all of those nicely for you. And the last thing I want to go over is our website. So I'm on dsdinc.com. So if you want to get to our marketplace, you can go to our enhancements, down to our marketplace. This takes you to our marketplace where you can search and navigate through all of our enhancements. You can see some of our top ones, like we've got Instadocs here. We've got an expanded field group of all of those. Our multi-company, our multi-currency is our top enhancements, our deferred revenue groupings. So you can search by name or code. You can also search by module. So if you know, oh, it's under the sales order module, you can go ahead and select that. It's going to bring up these product cards. If you don't know exactly what you're searching for, I usually recommend clicking down here and do 48 per page, and then you can really scroll and search and look what you're looking for. I'm going to pull up our APDM, which is our AP in stocks. And these are our product cards, we call them that, and you go ahead and click in them. And so it gives you a little more description. And then you can click on our All Versions tab. So here's where you can get to our user manual in the install file for them. The installer can be ran in demo mode, but we always recommend that you run it in a sandbox, not even a test company, a sandbox, is completely separate from your live company. So you're not ruining anything in your live stage. There's pricings and there's videos attached as well. Any questions? I know that was a lot of information. And again, we can go questions over any of our enhancements or anything we just went over. I am game for answering anything. So I'm reading through the chat and one of them says, I want a copy of the PDF. So Deborah, do you want me to I think all of my, I'm going to PDF up my PowerPoint as well. So you guys have that and I'll send that PDF as well. And then will you guys be responsible for sending those to the users or posting those?
If you can send us a PDF that we can share.
Okay.
If you could send it to me and to CLA,
Okay.
we can get them out to whoever wants them.
Okay.
Hmm.
The next one, subscription price. Yes, the subscription pricing is annual. It's an annual fee, and all of that goes through your reseller. So whether that be TourTech or CLA, all of that will go through them.
So we get notice of your renewal and then we issue an invoice to you. Mm-hmm. We do have a link on our website that goes to yours. If anyone would like to go on and see what is available. There's so many, it is, like you said, it's a little confusing. So to do 48 at a time and just go down. Yeah, we have some that are real popular.
Mm-hmm.
The 6-point decimal and the, oh, Mark Booth helped me out here. It's the currency.
The multi-currency.
The multi-currency, yes.
Yep. Yep, that's a top one. Any other questions, or we can give you guys time back? I'm good with that too.
Really, the best way to approach these enhancements is to send us an email, give us a call. Your account manager can review with you your system and your needs, what you're using. And they are familiar with all the enhancements, and now that we've just had a little preview of the new ones, we can recommend what would be good, what wouldn't work, what would. And when in question, we can always give you a call, Ashley, right, and get further information, further demos.
Yes, absolutely. You guys can always email us. The best way to email us is at enhancements@DSD Inc. A lot of people monitor that inbox, myself included, so we can get the best answer and the best person to answer questions.